In today's video, we're doing a sponsored brand masterclass to reveal exactly how one client made over $425,000 on keywords among the 100 most popular on Amazon, dominating the market share on them, and all of this while maintaining an absurdly low 10.5% ACoS. Intrigued? I'm David Goldenberg, and I've been in digital marketing for over 20 years. I recently led the marketing for a seller who grew from 30 million a year to 57 million a year. Still work with them through my agency. And so in this video, I want to share with you what the problems were with the existing approaches to tackling high popularity keywords, why this new approach is better, how it allows you to grow faster and more profitably than what people used to do, okay? And then beyond that, getting into specific detail, how to make your ad creative. How do you write your headline? What pages do you link to? Where do you get inspiration on making pages? And 7 advanced tips based on our A/B testing experience across lots of campaigns. All of this to dominate your top keywords in your niche. Ever wonder how to advertise profitably on the most popular keywords on Amazon? If you can make it work, you can skyrocket your sales. But these keywords tend to be vague, like chair, cookies, basketball. That means there are at least 3 different obstacles to overcome. The first obstacle is how to get a high conversion rate when the visitor's intent is so unclear. The second one is how to get a high click-through rate when the visitor's intent is so unclear. Third, how do you make it profitable when everybody is competing on these keywords and bidding them way up? The answer lies in a strategy I call segment and conquer. But what does that actually mean? It involves using a little-known Amazon-sponsored brand format. Ever heard of the Store Spotlight? It's huge. Follow along this Store Spotlight masterclass and learn how you can use segment and conquer to radically increase your sales and market share. What's novel about this strategy? In itself, making lots of money from top-of-funnel keywords is not so remarkable. Plenty of sellers do it. And the reason is mainly because there's just loads of traffic on these top-of-funnel keywords. What is novel about this is getting high click-through rates on these top-of-funnel keywords, which is hard to do. It's hard to do because they're vague. When someone searches for chair, what kind of chair do they want? In the past, we only got low click-through rates for these kinds of keywords, around 0.6% for top of search, the most visible placement. And what's novel about this new strategy is that we're getting high click-through rates on vague keywords. Have a look at this screenshot from 2 campaigns we ran. Click-through rates for those ads, it's 2.2% and 1.89%, which is very high for sponsored brand ads. Now, why does the click-through rate matter? There are 2 reasons the ads click-through rate matters. The first reason it matters is that unless you're spending lots of money to generate demand, you can't really grow your market. What you can do is try to increase your share of that market. That means you can grow faster. If every month there's, let's say, 100,000 people searching for your product, if instead of 1% of them coming to your listing, you get 2%, guess what? You're growing twice as fast. The second reason that click-through rate matters is that ads with a high click-through rate get rewarded with a cheaper cost per click. You're buying a lot of clicks from Amazon and they want to reward you. It's a bulk off discount. And that is essential for making a profit on these very competitive keywords that everyone is bidding on. So how do you get this higher click-through rate? The trick is to use a special format called the Store Spotlight. In short, instead of linking to 3 products and a landing page like regular product collection, sponsored brands that most people are familiar with, you link to 3 pages on your store plus the store homepage. The trick is to link to 3 different category pages. Now that's very different to how sponsored brands traditionally worked, and this is the key point. When you link to different category pages, you can cater to multiple audience segments with a single ad. I should explain, a brand store gives you the flexibility to build any kind of page you want. So you can focus on a single product, on a subcategory, on a category, on some particular feature of your product, on user-generated content, a million different ideas. And so the advice I'm trying to give you is to focus on linking to category pages specifically with your Store Spotlight. The product collection ads, which feature 3 products in the ad itself, why don't they perform well on top of funnel keywords, on the super popular keywords like chair, paint, etc. The reason it doesn't work well is that product collection ads make you offer a product before you know the specifics of what your visitor is looking for. Like a newbie salesperson, the ad thinks it knows what the person's looking for just because they said one keyword. I want a chair. I want cookies. There's so many different audiences searching for these vague keywords, so your product collection is less impactful. With store spotlights, you can link to 3 different category pages, so address 3 different segments of the audience in addition to your homepage link. By linking to multiple categories, you help the searchers take an extra step in their buying journey. If they came into your store looking for paint, what kind of paint do you want? Do you want oil-based? Do you want water-based? Are you looking to paint for fine arts? Are you looking to paint walls? You allow them to self-segment essentially and give them control over the buying process so they have greater buy-in and greater conversion rates. And your ad gets greater click-through rates, which we already talked about. How to write your headline. In addition, I like to write my headline in a way that makes the segmentation choice clear. What type of keyword do you need? And then you show subcategory of keyword 1, subcategory 2 of keyword, subcategory 3 of the keyword. For example, what type of chair do you need? Office chairs, recliner chairs, beanbag chairs. In addition to asking the question, what type of X do you need? I've also seen people phrase the segmentation as a instruction. Pick your XYZ. Pick the XYZ that suits your needs. Note that you don't have to use a segmenting headline in order to perform well with sponsored brand store spotlights. I've seen many cases where a benefit-oriented headline performed even better than a segmentation-oriented headline. That's not all there is to this though. I've got an additional 7 advanced tips to help you. 1. Find inspiration on what pages to make in your store for use with your store spotlight ad. 2. Improve conversion by deciding how different to make the pages your ad links to based on A/B tests we've done. 3. Increase sales by writing more persuasive display names, the text underneath the pages that your store spotlight links to. And that's based on our A/B testing experience. 4. Grow your average order value with a super easy trick, also based on our A/B tests. 5. Increase click-through rates by avoiding this mistake in segmenting your audience. 6. Use the segment and conquer strategy even if your catalog only has 2 categories that match your target keyword and not 3. 7. Avoid wasting ad spend on clicks that don't convert for store spotlights. What category or subcategory pages should you link to? Inviting people to make a choice, but then showing them categories that don't really respond to the different audience segments in that bigger basket of traffic is not going to help them to self-segment. If you have people who are searching for paint and you offer paint brushes and accessories like aprons to keep yourself clean while painting, that might be an extra cross-sell, but most of the people are just going to ignore that. They're looking for paint. So you need to offer subcategories within paint itself. One trick I really like is to copy Amazon's own segmentation options that it offers. Sometimes they'll show you these gray buttons across the top of the page or in the middle of the search results, inviting people to narrow down their choices. Or even if it's not specifically gray buttons, they'll show images with links to a particular subcategory. Use that to inspire your own ad. And another thing you can do is to look at the filters on the sidebar of the Amazon search results in order to better understand how Amazon sees this bigger category of traffic, this bigger group of people, breaking down into subsegments. So once you see the categories that Amazon options in the filters, whether that's the sidebar filters in the middle of the search results, you want to create matching pages in your own brand store that reflect those categories and filters that Amazon themselves are suggesting to searchers. Here are a couple of additional tips for choosing what categories you should link to in your store spotlight and how to write the display name text that appears beneath each subcategory or category page that you link to in your store spotlight. You want to link to categories that are meaningfully different from each other. For example, segmenting by size tends to work better than segmenting by color. If you're selling side tables, segmenting by the height or additional features is a better bet than black versus brown versus white. If you're selling sheets, you might want to segment by material, for example, silk or cotton, bamboo, synthetic. You can also try other features such as being stain resistant, remaining cool, etc. We've also tested long copy versus short copy for the display names. And our result many times from these A/B tests is that long copy performs better than the short copy. The reason probably being that people are more pre-sold, they're more persuaded that this meets their needs, as opposed to still being somewhere earlier in the shopping funnel, being less certain that this is what they need. Another finer point of Amazon sponsored brand store spotlights is that the order in which you show your category pages makes a difference to what people buy. The inclination is going to be much more geared towards the first and second categories than the third one, and the first one more than the second. And therefore, if you have products that go from cheaper to more expensive, put the more expensive ones, assuming that's what you want to sell most, first, then the middle price, then the low price. And that way, on average, you'll see that you get a higher average order value. If you're making more money on average, you can spend more money, and that is how you can build up dominance and market share. Another finer point with the store spotlights is that you only want to segment across one issue, ideally. Don't say what size and color do you need. Just ask what size, and then within, let's say, the large, you'll have different colors showing up on that page. The reason is you want to make it easy for them to make a decision, for them to go from being at the top of funnel to somewhere in the middle of the funnel, progressing ahead on their buyer journey. But when you introduce two decision criteria, well, what if I need the large and the black, but you're just pairing the black with a medium and the large with a white? So that makes it more difficult for people to make a decision. Harder decisions are decisions that people avoid, and you miss the click, you miss the conversion. So keep it simple.
What if there are just 2 relevant categories in my catalog? Store spotlights need 3.
If there's only 2 major subcategories for this product in your catalog, what can you do for the third page? The solution that we found is that you can link to category 1, category 2, and then all products in the overall category. That's a very easy solution. With a new tool that Amazon has provided for the brand stores, you can add what's called a product selector. And what that is basically a quiz that allows you to offer personalized recommendations based on the answers they give you. For example, you can ask them how big is their need, and then give them products that fit the size that they're looking for. So you can do that as your third option, get personalized recommendations. Why and how do I bid differently for store spotlights? Aside for the creative, there's also a bidding aspect to store spotlights that is unique in comparison to regular product collections or sponsored brand videos. And if you don't pay attention to this detail, it's so easy to waste loads of money. What placements do store spotlights work for? At this point, I should mention that your store spotlight ad only shows 3 category pages if it appears in the top of search. On other placements, the store spotlight looks much worse than either product collections or sponsored brand video ads. And the reason is that you're inviting people to make a choice between 3 different options, right? But those options don't appear on your other placements. All that people can see is the headline, the logo, and a dynamically chosen product. In comparison, your ad is showing up next to product collection ads, and those are showing a custom image, and next to sponsored brand videos, where again, there's an image or maybe text and so on. So when making store spotlight campaigns, what I do is I disable the automated bidding option for the sponsored brand campaign, and I decrease 99% the adjustment for other placements. And what that does is basically either prevents me getting that traffic or makes it so cheap that it's not really significant of an expense. And if I'm keen for the impressions, I can just make a product collection or sponsored brand video campaign and try to get those through that more suitable ad format. I want to add that there are times where Amazon just ignores your manual bid adjustment for other placements, whether to increase or to decrease, and it's a really big problem. So if you encounter that, please file a ticket. In the past, I have had a refund from Amazon, but you need to fight really hard, and it can help if you reach out to senior people there over LinkedIn. But they need to know, they need to hear over and over that this thing is broken, Sometimes broken, sometimes it works, sometimes it's broken, because you need to be able to control your bids on your placements and not just have it be like, oh, well, we couldn't be bothered to fix this aspect of our system. So that's a caveat with this bidding adjustment technique. Does this segment and conquer technique work every time? Frankly, I've had many campaigns that tried that and didn't work out, and that's just part of the ad game. But when it works, it can do amazing. As Jeff Bezos himself puts it, you experiment, you test, you try different things, and 1 or 2 home runs more than make up for lots and lots of failures. Obviously, you want to keep on top of the things that are not working so you can cut them off short. But your home runs keep producing, and that's how you win. And this is a technique for swinging big and hitting home runs. Now, what happens when somebody gets to your brand store? Are you making common mistakes? Are you showing products that you shouldn't be showing in places that you shouldn't be showing them? Are you using the homepage in the right way? Are you using your category pages in the right way? And are they relating properly to your subcategory pages? What are you doing with the headers? It looks simple, but there's a lot of detail, and most of the stores that people are building now are making many common mistakes and missing out on so many sales because they don't know the right way to build this. So if you want to do the best you can with your store, to pair that with the store spotlights that we just talked about, I encourage you to subscribe, because I've got a masterclass on how to build your Amazon brand store based on my experience